everyone. We want to welcome you today to the We Are Flora Pearl podcast. I am your host, Latasha J. Humphrey, founder of the Flora Pearl Foundation Incorporated. I am super excited to get into this podcast today. But before we get started, we want to let our audience know that this podcast is being brought to you by the Flora Pearl Foundation, where our vision is bridging the gap, building a legacy. Our mission is that we are a 501c3, community-focused nonprofit mentoring organization, building healthy relationships and partnerships between women and girls through education, community service, networking, unification, and career planning. Our inspiration is Flora Pearl Humphrey. She was my paternal grandmother, and what she taught me and my family was about faith, family, and community. And that is where I draw my inspiration from. Now, audience, I have the pleasure of introducing a phenomenal woman who has such a sweet disposition. She is on a mission with purpose, and she is a very talented gem. We had the opportunity to meet through the AmeriCorps program. So without further ado, I present to you Serra Craig. Hi, Serra. How are you doing?
Hi, I am great. How are you?
I am excellent. And so if you would, go ahead and just introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. I'm Serra Craig. I'm a wife, a mother of a energetic, almost 2-year-old boy. Right. And I just stepped into the role of program manager for a nonprofit organization in the Birmingham area. And I'm just really excited to be here tonight speaking with you.
Awesome. Well, it's such a pleasure to have you. It definitely is. And just I wanted to jump right into it. So when you talked about, recently changing roles, and I know like just sometimes, even in certain positions, and then, maybe kind of a crossroad or just, something we want to just jump into. And I wanted to know, what led you to deciding to take on that new role?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just part of the way I approach life. I'm always kind of looking for not the next big thing, but like how can I make a bigger impact, a bigger contribution? What have I learned, and how can I take it and use it to further the agency that I care about? So that just inner desire kind of led me to be open to whatever opportunities might come along my way. And so when this opportunity presented itself, I threw my hat in the ring, nervous as ever, but I threw my hat in the ring, and the rest is history.
Okay. And what advice would you give to someone who's kind of at that stage? Like you said, not necessarily maybe looking for the next big thing, but definitely want to make an impact. And I'm really big on that. What is some advice that you would give to someone in that position?
Yeah, one piece of advice that I would give, don't second guess yourself. And I think it's easy to do. It's easy to think, that job title, it's so far up there. I'm not sure that I have all the skills that I need. And you may not have all the skills that you need right in that moment, but be teachable, and you know that you're teachable, and you can learn anything that you put your mind to. So go after it. Don't let fear stifle you and hold you back.
Perfect. And I do want to ask, even, the nonprofit you're at, definitely know that racism and also just, social justice is such a big deal. I wanted you to kind of share, there's so much going on in the climate today, not only just politics, but just period in the nation that we're in. Touch on each of those subjects, like, as it relates to racism, and just kind of what are your thoughts about that, and what are some things we could do to help make things better, and also as it relates to social justice.
Yeah, well, I think you said it really well. We're in a very, I don't even know what to say about the current climate that we're in.
Right.
And I guess my view of it is a little skewed because I worked in the social justice department. And I guess I shouldn't say skewed. I meet and I'm met with like-minded people who believe in equality and equity, and who believe in equal rights for all. So when I see people people outside of my own circle, it just blows my mind that people think the way that they do. And some of the things that we see and hear and read that's happening in this society, in this country, it's sad. And one of the things that I struggle with is where do I start with trying to address the racism and the social justice issues, and how can I as one person make an impact? And it is possible. I think it's important to, number one, when you see something, say something. Empower those around you to speak to the things that they see going on in the world. If you hear a friend or family member say something that's racist or homophobic, you be that person to be an educator. It doesn't have to always be a tit for tat, a match going back and forth. You don't have to argue with someone, but being able to articulate and express why their view is not right, I think that can kind of help build that bridge of some level of understanding, or at least plant that seed that maybe later on down the road could be watered by someone else. I think it's very, it's tough out there. I mean, I think part of what's mind-boggling to me is I think, especially the Obama presidency, I remember when he was elected. So I thought, wow, we're really, moving in this direction. And so for the hate that I've seen in recent years towards people of color, Black and brown people, I just have a hard time reconciling the Obama era, I guess, to what's happening right now. It's as if we're in almost two different spaces in time. And I come from Walker County. I lived in an all-Black, very, very, very small community, but we went to mostly white schools, and so I've had my own personal experiences with racism, and to see where I thought we were moving made me feel like something really had changed. But now I don't know that I feel that change really happened. And it's just hard for me to kind of come to terms with where we are. And as I mentioned earlier, like, what can we really do to push things forward, to move towards a peaceful society that's inclusive to all and tolerant of all and loving everybody in all races.
Yeah. And I do want to ask, just like you were saying, even where you came from, and having to go to, like you said, an all-white school, right? Mm-hmm. Just as far as you being, a woman of color, or even growing up, of course, and during the times and just having to do that, what were some things that you faced that you had to overcome?
Yeah, so where do I start? It's so many. And it's so crazy at the time those things would happen, and I didn't realize until I became an adult how much I internalized these little racist incidents that happened along the way. So, like I mentioned, I stayed in a mostly all-Black community, and I went to a majority white school. I think by the time I got to high school, the breakdown was like 80-something% white, and whatever the change was African American. So it was definitely mostly white. So one of my first memories of somebody being racist, my friend and I, she, back in the day, when you want to call a boy you like, you get your friend to call and mute the phone.
Right.
And they talk to your name doesn't pop up on the caller ID, right?
Right.
So she called me and she's like, I want to call so-and-so. Can you dial the number and ask to speak to him? And when he gets on the phone, you be quiet and I'll start talking. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. And my friend was white, and the boy she was calling was white. So I called. I asked to speak to him. I think his mom, it was a lady, I'm assuming his mom answered the phone. And she put us on hold and went and got him. And when he came back to the phone, I'm muted at this point. And so she's like, hey. And he said, hey, oh, it's you. I thought it was an N-word on the phone.
Wow.
Yeah. And I might have been maybe fourth or fifth grade at that point. somewhere in there, and that was the first time that I had ever been privy, I guess, to hearing what some people are saying about my people behind our backs. And for you to feel comfortable enough to say that over the phone, there's no telling what kinds of conversations you have and what you really think about me. Because at school, you smile and we get along just fine, but I've just heard you refer to me as a racial slur, and you didn't realize that I was right there on the phone. And so from that moment on, I won't say that I started to look at everyone who didn't look like me differently, but I definitely became more aware of the backgrounds of the people that I was growing up with that I didn't quite understand, that my parents understood but did not tell us to be weary of people who are not our same race. They didn't, give us any, they didn't want us to, I guess, live a life mistrusting people who did not look like us. But that was something that I kind of experienced firsthand, and it just kind of made me more aware of where I was and the history of the place that I was in.
Wow.
I grew up.
No, that's pretty deep, though. Because I'm wondering, I was just kind of like, how did he know, I guess even with the mom, so they knew it was a different voice? Is that what?
That's yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay, from what oh, wow. Wow.
So I asked to speak to him, and I guess the mom was sounds like a black girl. Or probably didn't say sounds like a black girl on the phone.
Right. She said what they say, what they say in their home, in that particular home. Like she said exactly what he said, That's pretty deep though. And then, for you to hear that, you said 4th and 5th grade too. That's kind of, wow. That's a shocker right there.
It is, and unfortunately, it didn't necessarily stop. Like, little microaggressions or the little things that people may say along the way as you grow up. I've been called an N-word to my face by someone who was upset.
Wow.
And then also just dealing with my peers, like my black peers who lived in Yorkwood, that's where I'm from. You probably never ever heard of it.
Yeah, that I was
small, unincorporated, pretty thick in Walker County. But like when I would, involved with like activities at school, I was usually the only black girl. And so it was you're acting white, you talk white, that whole thing.
Yeah.
So I felt at times it was coming from all different angles.
Right. And it definitely can be a challenge. And I'm not saying that any other girls don't face it, but definitely, African American girls, it's a whole, because it's not just one way. A lot of times, and maybe guys, I can't attest to exactly what African American guys deal with on that level, like as it relates to that. But I've heard that too, the I'm talking white thing. I'm originally from Chicago, so of course even in coming here, that was a thing because it's different up there. I mean, everybody talks. I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to be proper English or what you want to call it. That's what I call it. I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm talking clear. I know how to talk in other ways in those settings, but I mean, and what am I supposed to talk a certain way, in every setting? You're supposed to be able to, I guess you would call code switch or whatever, but that's just what it has to be, But nonetheless, I've heard that I'm talking white or, you this or that or whatever. It's even from your body to your, your hair and just all the different stuff. And it's kind of like, oh, come on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, can I just be me and it be good, My goodness. I'm just like, I did not come out here to be judged and told what all I need to do different, when I want to own, just who I am. So, it's amazing just being a woman of color. And I wanted to ask you too, because we actually have a program that's called the Will to Win Institute. And, that's where we get the opportunity to impact the lives of young women and girls. And so our most recent class, they were all, African American girls. And like even what you just talked about, what is something you can say to encourage those young girls, like even with what we just talked about people judging you,
Yeah. Do what you want to do.
Okay.
To you. Like, that's the
Yes.
simplest way I can put it. I wanted to. No other black girl was cheering at my school. I wanted to do it.
Uh-huh.
So I did. I didn't, kind of course it was a thought, like, I don't want to be the only black girl. I'll be the only black girl. My friends are not going to do it because they don't want to be the only black. So it was all of that still happened, but you know what? I got to live my life, make my choices, and be what I want to be. And when the opportunities present itself, I'm not going to let the opinion of others, whether it be my black peers or me, me concerned about what the majority may say when I get there. That's not my concern. Just do what it is that you want to do. And I'm thankful that I had a mother who encouraged that in me.
Yeah.
And I would share with her, like, I want to be the only black girl. Do you think that'd be weird? She'd be like, no, Sarah. Do what you want to do. You want to do it, you can do it. And if you don't have that voice behind you, rallying behind you, encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. You can do it. Do not let the opinions of others stifle your growth.
Perfect. And I do want to ask really quick. I just want to make sure: are you on a different device? It sounds a little muffled. I just want to make sure you remain clear.
Oh no, I'm on the same phone.
Okay, good stuff. Okay. Well, I do want to switch gears just a bit. And I wanted to get into the topic of marriage. I know you shared, you definitely have your husband, but you also have your little one too. And so the question I love to ask our guests who are married is, how did you know that your husband was the one?
Okay, so, wow. I can go so far into this story. So I don't think that I knew.
Wait a minute.
My husband knew before I knew, and I learned along the way, I think. So just to give you just a brief backstory that'll explain why I say that.
Okay.
Brian added me as a Facebook friend maybe like back in 2009, back when you just accepting requests from anybody that you just might know this. So like I just and he had been inbox to me and saying hello, but you know how we were doing back then, like half replying or not replying at all.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, fast forward to 2011, somewhere around there. We attended the same church, so he saw me at church and like inboxed me like, "Hey, I think I saw you. Do you attend church here?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do. Like, I'm glad you saw me. I guess. Okay, it's a little weird, but whatever." And then we were getting close to the new year, and he had inboxed me around the new year, like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, like, next year, you're gonna be mine. I got you. I'm coming for you." Not in a weird, creepy way, but a very like, "Oh, he's so cute, sweet, whatever" kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, the new year came and passed, and he asked me on a date, and I was just like, "Okay, yeah." Our first date bombed. It was like no chemistry, it seemed. And the following Sunday, he brought me a dozen roses to church to thank me for allowing him to take me out.
Wow.
And I thought, nobody ever does that. That is so sweet, and it's like nothing else. I should actually, try to see where this might go, because this guy seems really genuine. And we just started hanging out, and slowly the Lord just revealed to me that that's who he picked for me. That's his best choice for me. And he confirmed that along the way from others who I hadn't told about Brian, or they didn't know that I was kind of trying to sort out how I felt, and this was what God was saying. And so people would come up and just confirm things that I had prayed secretly to God about. And so that's how I came to know that he was the one. But he told me that he prayed about me, but he knew from the jump.
Okay. Awesome. Well, wanted to ask, what advice would you give to a woman who may desire to be married? What is something you can share with her or with those women?
Yeah, I think, well, I'll speak to that from two different angles. So, I've been the woman who has not wanted to be married at all at certain points in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've been the one who desired marriage but was single. And I've been the one who desired marriage but was with the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on which of those scenarios is you, you take this advice as it applies. I think for the woman who's desiring to be married but is single, trust God with timing and with leading that man that he has picked out for you. And during that single season, don't let it go to waste. That's one regret that I have. I think when you're single, there are certain things you don't have to worry about. So work on being the best you that you can be. Work on figuring out the gifts God has given you. Work on figuring out how you can best serve the world. Work on figuring out, like, what of your garbage you need to clean up. Because, all of us have a little, those idiosyncrasies, those habits that are just not healthy that we need to figure out. Clean yourself up. Love yourself. Date yourself. Get to know yourself as you patiently wait on the Lord to give you your husband. And then for the woman who desires to be married, but in your heart of hearts, the person who is not the person that God's best choice for you, trust that feeling that that's not what he has for you, and do what you need to do to get into position. You'd rather wait long than marry wrong.
Okay.
So,
now that's what's up. Look, wait a minute. I love it.
I remember when I was, I don't even want to call it engaged to someone else, but I was seriously dating someone else, and I knew all along that was not what God had for me.
Mm-hmm.
There were signs along the way, and I was just trying to hold on to that relationship for dear life, and
Right.
it took me dry, it took me of everything. So yeah, get out of that and get in position for God to send you that husband. And while you wait patiently, focus on what's most important. And I think we often, and I'm kind of getting off on a tangent, I think we often focus on these things like, oh, what's my next big move in life? Where's my man? Where's my husband? Where's my kids? The big thing to look at is what God put you on this earth to do. And sometimes your ministries will be motherhood and being a wife, but don't lose your kingdom focus as you're also wanting that husband, that great job, that child. Keep the kingdom in mind, your purpose in mind. You pursue that. And to the women who might not want to be married, that was me after that doozy relationship. I was like, I'm good. I'll be the cool auntie.
Right. Hey, the cool auntie is what's up now. No, I'm just playing. Well, I mean, I get it. No, I'm just saying it's to each his own, though, for real.
Yeah, to each his own. I think I have a teen auntie, and I look up to her even still. She doesn't have any children. She just living a life. Has a beautiful home, beautiful car. I mean, she's just enjoying her life, and she's amazing. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because our value is not in who we're married to. Like, that doesn't complete you. You should be a whole person before if you're going to get married to other persons. So don't think that your worth and your value is tied into who you do or do not marry.
Right.
And whether you want to marry at all.
No, I totally agree. And I know I have this thought, where I feel like sometimes just society, period, can, even for women who are single or who decide, they don't even want children or they don't want to be married, either way. It's it shouldn't be this holding cell before marriage, for those who are single is what I'm saying. Like, it's like, oh, then you become complete when you're with someone. And just like you just said, you need to be complete so that, and then you want to meet somebody who is complete. If that is your desire to be married, not where you 50-50. Because I always think about that. I said, well, what if you're missing something? They're missing both. Yeah, everybody, y'all missing together. Like, if you come into the table, I got this part, you got this part. It's like we gonna make a whole. No, I want you whole, and I need to be whole. Like, I mean, I just think that's what it should be. So, yeah.
I totally agree with you, 100%.
That's what's up.
100%.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to segue into community service. If you could share,
Okay.
with our audience, just ways that you're, giving back to the community, and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, being a mother, my time is strapped. So, I
Okay.
found that charitable donations in this season of my life has been the way that I choose to pour back into my community. And the work that I do is for a nonprofit agency. And if you work for a nonprofit, you don't do it to get rich. You do it because you have a passion for the mission of your organization and you want to see people's lives change. So I work where I work because I'm driven by the needs of the community, and I put my money where my heart and my mouth is, and I give to the organizations that have missions that align with what I'm passionate about.
I love it. Awesome. Awesome. Well, we wanted to move into our segment. It's called "This Relationship Matters," and like I said, I don't know if you know, but I became a published author in 2017. And so,
Congratulations!
thank you so much. And so the book, basically, the book is called "This Relationship Matters," and it's about 7 keys of building healthy mother-daughter bonds. And so it really is kind of our guiding principle with the org. One of the relationships that we really focus on, but we focus on just the women and girls relationships and partnerships between both. And really building that what I believe is a village and just those networking relationships. But with the key relationship, like I said, with the mother-daughter relationship, one of the questions I would love to ask is, what has your mother taught you about yourself?
Oh, wow. That's a really great question. I would say that my mother knows me better than I know myself.
Okay.
And one thing that she's taught/showed me is that I am capable of being a mother.
Okay.
And Bryce, he was our best surprise blessing, and I never really pictured myself to be the mothering kind. As I mentioned, I thought I was going to call auntie. And I thought, kids probably will come because I'm married, so we'll figure that out later. But when it actually came time, I didn't think that I would be capable of connecting with, loving, mothering a child. And my mother had agreed to come stay with us when we brought Bryce home from the hospital to help me, kind of figure this thing out. And she did for a couple of days. And then she said, I'm going to go back home. You'll be fine. If you need me, call me. And when I tell you, when that door closed, I cried like a baby. Like, oh my goodness, I'm here left alone with this brand new baby. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it. And you know what? It came naturally. It came naturally. I figured it out. Nobody else was there but me and my little baby, and I had to do it.
Yeah.
And a few days later, my mother called me, and she said, Sarah, how are you doing? And I said, I'm doing okay. I'm figuring everything out. We got a nice little groove going. And she said, I know I promised you that I'd come stay with you for a while, but I didn't want you to get too alone on me because I know that you are capable of being a good mother. So I left to step back and let you realize that yourself, that you're more than capable. And so it's like, it's such a mother thing to know when they need to fall back, when that scaffolding needs to be removed so that you can stand strong on your own. So that was one of the biggest things that my mother taught me most recently.
And what would you say, because one of the chapters in the book, well, the first one actually, it's about self-love. It all starts with you. And As it relates to self-love, what are your thoughts on that?
I think um, for women, it's easy to say we love ourselves, but not actually love ourselves.
No, that's real.
You just say that, oh, I love me some me. Like, I'm confident I love myself. But when you look at what our actions are, because love is not just it's not like a feeling, it's a verb, right?
Yeah.
So when we look at what we do, we don't act like we love ourselves that much. We put it with relationships. We let people overstep boundaries that are healthy, that we need to keep in place. We will not eat for the sake of working and pushing through to meet this deadline or get this stuff done. So I think it's something that we could better practice. Think what self-love looks like to you. And actually putting the action behind that. I think that, we give so much love because that's who we are as women. We're nurturers. We take care of the people around us, the people that are under our covering, the people that we're connected to. And it's easy to let our own self-care fall by the wayside in doing that. So it's okay to, do some self-care, self-reflection. Think, how can I show myself some love and kindness today? And then when you do that, you'll be better able to love those around you.
Perfect. In the last chapter, it is about forgiveness. And so when you hear forgiveness, what does that mean to you?
That's a really good question, Latasha.
Good stuff.
I think
You're so silly.
For me, right now, at this stage of my life, I'm going to say this now. I've not always looked at forgiveness in this way, but my personal definition of forgiveness and what I think about it, it still makes me, like, if my stomach still gets knocked up talking about you, or I'm getting all flustered talking about it, I still have some ickiness inside about what happened. So for me, forgiveness is getting to a point where I've, thought about what happened, rationalized what happened, prayed about what has happened, but I've released all of those negative emotions that are associated with that and no longer bogged down by the icky feelings of being hurt by somebody.
Yeah. Wow. I love that.
It's hard.
No, that's so, but you know what? I feel like it's just like you said, but even being able to recognize that, Sarah, like, that is huge, because you have some situations where certain individuals, they let it like almost take them back to that time. And they don't move forward. It's like, or they get stuck, or you just kind of overwhelmed or whatever. But I believe, like, being able to, that's where that self-love even comes into it too, where you, like you said, that self-care, even where I am in tune with me enough to know, like, if this comes up, I can recognize it, but you can let it pass too. It's not about that you just, this picture perfect and nothing comes up. Oh, nothing, like you said, nothing bothers me and I'm so whatever. No, I'm just like, when it does show itself, what are you going to do about it? And the fact that you're so in tune with you have certain mechanisms that you can even handle that. You can handle those things accordingly,
Yeah. And the crazy thing about forgiveness is you don't really get to practice it until somebody has hurt you.
See, now there you go. Look, it's like you don't know how to. You can say, "Oh, I forgive," and then until.
And all of those people like, "Oh, I'm a little good stuff to everybody," and then somebody wronged me, and like fairly recently, like I've been an adult since this happened for the past 5 years, and I felt so hurt about it.
Yeah.
And I said I was over it, and every time it came up, I would get so mad. My eyes would start watering. Like I was like, wait a second. No. I can't carry this weight.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, because you just don't want it to. it's, I mean, just like you said, just kind of get bogged down with, like, you just don't want it to take over your now. I think, like, those things, they may have occurred, but just like recognizing it, like you said, no, you had to give yourself a pep talk. It's like, that's not what we doing now. Like, I
Yeah.
understand that's kind of what happened or whatever. And yeah, I may still be working through some stuff, but I think, even Oprah said this, well, true forgiveness is when you can say, I thank you for that experience. And that's pretty deep. I mean, I think if you can say that, then and not physically maybe tell the person, but you can truly, even in talk about it, you can say, I'm grateful for that experience.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah, and I, because even for me, just different things I realized in my life, like, for me to get to this moment right here, even the stuff, no matter what it was, things that I didn't do correct, or things that may have been done to me, or whatever the case may be, I still believe it had to happen. Like, I feel like for me to be right here, now, does that mean that I, excuse everything and I'm like, oh, let's do that again? It's nothing necessarily, but I'm thinking, like, if I didn't take that path, like, what would the other path be? So it's
Right.
like, even the forgiveness part, even having to forgive and still walk through that. Like, even like you said, if somebody did something, if it flares up, it's just being able to say, okay, but now you're here, and what are you gonna do different? So.
Right. I totally agree. And another thing about forgiveness is, if you don't handle those feelings, that unforgiveness can be a breeding ground for all other kinds of feelings and actions that are not aligned with who you know yourself to be.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, you think you're over it, and you see the person, or someone brings it up, and these feelings, come back, and you're festering in it, then you're talking about somebody bad behind their back, and then you say, it can lead you to other things that are just not things you want to do.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to move into a fun segment. And so this is the opportunity where I will say, I kind of ask you a question, and yours, it may be, a one-liner or whatever the case may be, but it's a way for the audience to get to know you a little bit better. Okay?
Okay.
All right. What question do you wish more people would ask you?
Oh. Let's see. What question do I wish people would ask me? Oh my goodness. Maybe. Gee. What question do I wish people would ask me? Well, I think. That's a good one.
You want to come back to that one?
Let me circle back to that.
I'm gonna let you chew on it just a little bit now, just a little bit. Okay. Well, here's something fun. You should be able to do this one. The last thing that you binge watch.
Oh, dead to me.
Okay. All right. What is your favorite kind of food?
Oh, I love Mexican food.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is a goal you want to achieve in the next 10 years?
Within the next 10 years, I have more than one goal. I would like to start a blog. I would like to start a ministry or small group for women. And I would like to start a business.
I like. Okay. So, what are 3 qualities that got you where you are today?
Being honest, striving for excellence, not perfection, there's a difference,
Right.
and being kind.
Okay.
Kindness goes a long way.
Absolutely. What work would you do for free?
I would just do what I do now for free. I would. I mean, I've started an AmeriCorps, so So basically, I've kind of been in the nonprofit world.
Look, y'all, those of us who have served in AmeriCorps truly understand what you mean. So yes, AmeriCorps alum definitely know. Okay. What is something that every woman should try once in her lifetime?
Ooh, a new food. Something like out of the box that you would never normally try.
Okay. What advice would you give to a woman with a broken heart?
This is going to be very corny, but you got to feel in order to deal, in order to heal. So, feel it, don't wallow in it, and don't do things to try to, force yourself over it. Don't go out there and start trying to date too soon. No. Focus on, those emotions that you have. Process them, and then find a healthy way to move forward.
I love it. What keeps you grounded?
My son. He's very humbling.
Okay. And we're going to go back to the question of what question do you wish more people would ask you?
Yeah, I wish that more people would ask me, what problem do I see in my community, and what do I think could fix it?
So I'm asking you that question now, and what would your answer be?
Yeah, so the problem that I see in my community, violence right now is a big issue. It's concerning to me. And I think one of the ways, and I'm sure what I'm going to say is nothing new, but one of the ways to combat it is to catch our young people when they're young and keep them from going down that road. We have to figure out what to do with our boys and our girls, keep them out of the streets, out of trouble, to help them see the value of life and the value of black and brown skin. We got to do better as parents and as people within the community.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you for answering our segment, our fun segment. And so we're going to move into faith. And so this is an opportunity for our guests to be able to share with our audience a time when their faith has been tested and basically how you came through it. Because sometimes we hear about things that people are going through and a lot of people may identify with it, but being able to hear how you came out of it is truly what then, it kind of sparks that in someone or gives them that encouragement. So if you would share.
Yeah, so the time when my faith was tested, I must say, has been this year.
Okay.
So, January 1, 2019, woohoo, new year, and then everything just seems to fall to pieces soon after that. So, my mother, who kept my son, they were in a car accident, hit by an 18-wheeler. My son, thank God, was not much injured, just some bruises. My mother broke 3 ribs.
Wow.
So we are, of course, worried at the hospital. Now she can't keep my son anymore because she has a broken rib. So we're trying to scurry around and find some child care. And child care is expensive. And it changes, the budget of the household. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Been there, done that. I do know.
So we have a parent who's dealing with some health issues because of the accident, having to find child care. Now we're paying for this extra expense that we didn't have before, and it's changed our budget the way it looks. And things just got really, really tight around the house. I started teaching part-time in the afternoons at a preschool to kind of offset that a little bit. And my husband, he thankfully let me do that. I don't say let, in a matter of, he's not controlling anything like that, but he wanted to be the one to do that. But I just happened to hear back first from somebody who was needing part-time work. So I went out and worked, and he came home and watched after the lights in the evening times. And things were just really, really hard then. And for me, it was hard to find the good. Some days, my days are long, I'm tired, work is stressful, and that's a whole other story.
Right.
So, there's expenses at work. And stressful nature of life and just trying to figure that out. And there were some days where I couldn't find anything positive to say, and I would be like, Lord, if nothing else, this season is giving me an opportunity to press deeper into you, to learn more about you, to remember how gracious you are and how, all the things that we go through them for a reason. And I know that you have something out there for me if I just stay focused on where you have me right now and try not to complain, try not to, focus on all the bad things because it seemed like there were many. And so surely we kind of work the plan. I come home from work, both jobs, we eat dinner late, go to bed late, wake up tired, and do it again. And then I saw the opportunity to apply for the role that I'm currently in, which was a promotion for me. So I no longer have to, try to find that extra income to get a second job. So it changed things a little bit. And I think that was God's promise for me to just hold out, stay the course. I know you're working in a nonprofit. Stay the course. I got you. So yeah, that was my most recent little story of faith, where I just stayed the course and trusted God and where He was leading me, and tried not to waver and doubt Him.
Good for you. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's good to know, like your mom, she's definitely recovering, even in the midst of those challenges. So, and also, like you said, with your son, he wasn't harmed in that way. So yeah. You said what now?
I said that was a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah. Okay, well, good. Well, we're going to move into our closing segment, and it's called Matters of the Heart Moment. And one of the questions I want to ask is, if you had the opportunity to speak to your younger self, what would you say to young Sarah?
Okay. What I would say to young Sarah is, you are too focused on people who are not focused on you, meaning the relationships that you're in. You need to value your youth, you make the most of it, and not make your decisions based off of who you're like. This boy, go to the school you want to go to. He will not be there or be there when you get back. Go. Make them for you in that season. I think as women, even as young as I was, as a teenager, 18, 19, getting ready to go to college, and just making lifelong decisions based off of seasons and seasonal people. That was something that I wish if I could go back to my younger self, I'd give her that little nugget.
Good stuff. Who inspires you?
Tracy Ellis Ross, Michelle Obama, and my mama.
All right. And what motivates you?
My motivation, I found a lot of it in being a mother. There's a lot of things in the world that I don't want my son to have to deal with. So just trying to be part of the solution for him. And how many other children I may have down the line.
Okay. Well, that is definitely a change from what you were saying before, when you said you went from not wanting to like, okay, and then it's like, hey, how many all the rest of them are coming along. Let's just prepare.
Right.
I love it. And is there any last minute piece of advice you would like to share?
Yes, I would just like anyone listening to know that you are capable. You can do it. Let God lead you along the way. And don't doubt yourself. I just feel like, as women, we hold our own selves back. We're our own biggest critic. So let's just get out of that and push forward and make the change and be the change we want to see in this place.
Perfect. Well, Sarah, I truly appreciate you for agreeing to, come on. We really thank you for sharing with us today.
Yes, I'm so thankful for you to invite me to be on this podcast. I was totally surprised by the ask, but I'm so humbled and grateful and thankful. I really love what you're doing with the Flora Pro Foundation, and keep up the good work.
I appreciate that. That really means a lot. It really does. And thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And our goal at the Flora Pearl Foundation is to be a blessing to all of those that we come in contact with by operating with the spirit of excellence. We want to thank you all so much for listening today. And you can visit our website at www.florapearlfoundation.org. We look forward to talking with you all soon. Keep shining.